that's fine. About what he's working on, to see what I'm working on, see how we can work together. Very excited about this guy. Am I correct? You're from Colorado?
Yes, in Colorado, in the San Luis Valley. I just recently found out there's a 420 acre independent cannabis grow in the work on my way to work. I see it every day. I'm like, I was asking the bus driver, what is that? She said it's a cannabis grow, 420 acres, and essentially it's a co-op. So you rent your land and you can live on it there and you can grow on it there.
Sounds great, man. I'm having some struggles over here, but honestly, all right. So that sounds like a very cool system right there, and I really love the fact that you're more of an anarchist. You're more of a kind of like a free thinker, kind of like, take care of all the little people and the big people at the same time, right? No one gets left behind. Very cool. So what else? I do see that acre thing is cool. That's probably located just for people who are local, people who are willing to move there. What else?
Yes, but I was thinking there could be some kind of facilitation with people who are not local to this area being able to facilitate a grow for themselves by essentially communing with an individual who may not be somebody who is, working a 9 to 5, who can cultivate their herb on their behalf. And this can be kind of branched out anywhere. It's essentially what they're doing is like the decentralization of Uber and Airbnb. They're doing it for cannabis grow. It's really crazy. They've already got all of the legal red tape covered on their end. And so as an individual just trying to, make a little money and or grow some herbals, it's really an advantageous type of situation. Even if you're not local, the amount of money that you save, you can use to essentially have somebody cultivate your grow for you. Maybe somebody on site, maybe not.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely let people grow their own stuff. You don't know what people are putting in stuff. Definitely, hard to trust. So I appreciate that, and I enjoy having my own stuff. Because the thing is that when you buy some stuff, right, you don't really know. Like they say it's this, they say it's this brand, they say it's this particular type of thing. They say it's haze, they say it's runts. Is it really? Right? But when
Is it really? We're getting to a point where we can't trust anybody's stuff outside of the awareness that comes with, like you said, being an anarchist, somebody who understands the non-aggression principle, because these things aren't dictated by, so like in my job, there's a bunch of standards and rules that we're supposed to follow. And I follow them because they are logical to the means and ends of keeping people safe, giving them the cleanest possible food and beverages that we can give them. But a lot of people don't have that fundamental principle. They don't have an appreciation for principles, and it reflects in their work ethic. And so a lot of times these things, that very simple things like wearing gloves or using a squeezer instead of your bare hands to squeeze lemons and limes, people don't do that. And it's because they don't have a strong sense of principles and an understanding of principles. Like, I don't do things at my job because I love the company I work for. I do things in my job to keep it clean and sanitary, because number one, I eat there too, and number two, a whole bunch like everybody else eats there too. So I'm not doing these things out of like a love for the corporation. I do it out of a love of mankind. And so tying it back to the being able to trust where your stuff's coming from, we are realizing very quickly that the way we consume is insane. Our methods of consumption is insane. The lack of responsibility and interaction we have for our consumption and expulsion, for that matter, is not sustainable.
Now, I do have a question about outdoor stuff, right? The thing is that when you have like these properties that are next to each other, right? The 420 acres, that sounds like a huge ass property, which is cool. Is this all outdoor?
Yeah, no, they actually have indoor and outdoor. They have options for both.
Yeah, because it's good right. Because I was just worried about let's suppose that I'm growing everything fine, but then the person next to me has like a pest outbreak, and then it could go over my stuff. Like how much, if they have different things set up, right? Also, with the pests, there's always ways to take care of that, but it is good to have, like, more responsible neighbors, right? They flood they're running rice paddy, they're running high water, they run in higher low peak. It could affect your
Right.
crop, like spillover. So just interesting, right? I do actually like growing things. That's
And
right
our idea,
yeah.
our idea is all encompassing, meaning we want to have the grow farm, the residential, the community center, the community business, all on site, so that it acts as an organism, a holistic organism, which feeds itself and functions itself.
Okay.
So go ahead, please.
I am interested. How can people find out? So the thing is that you said you want to maybe push this nationally. Are you trying to help like other, because I could try to look up different, cooperative gardens that are here in New York City and try to maybe put them in contact with you, and then maybe the guys could like do something,
Right.
a co-promotional deal.
Right. Well, what I'm trying to do is make this concept a model, which can be like Nipsey Hussle, which can be mapped out or utilized by anybody. So the plan is to create crowdfunded. So pretty soon we're going to launch one of the biggest crowdfunding donation fundraisers that we can. And these funds will be allocated towards the development of intentional communities. And so the first step is to crowdfund the money. And then the second, and that's a step that doesn't necessarily have to be taken, but we have, under the presumption of capitalism and the systems that we are currently ruled over by now, we presume that we're going to need some money. And so we want to crowdfund that money so that no individuals or small groups of people have to shoulder that weight. And so by crowdfunding it, we can distribute the resources equitably and efficiently as they come in. A lot of times when we go build these communities, we're working within a budget, a really tight budget, because it's a small group of people trying to do this. And then when we talk about decentralized, so they're crowdfunded, decentralized. The decentralization comes from the aspect of escaping these already exploitative, centralized power structures that always condense a bunch of power, resources, and mobility into the hands of a few. We are flipping that and making it's almost like a pyramid scheme, but it's upside down. Meaning you pay into it, but you get all the benefits of the same people on top. Excuse me. On what would be
if they put in their money, like, what do they get for their money?
So the way I'm thinking about doing this, imagine if TikTok or YouTube or any other corporation that's mildly popular was a paid membership. Like you had to pay $10 to get on YouTube. But with that $10, that the $5 of the dollars went to create these crowdfunded, which would be part of the crowdfunding is paying into the app or whatever it is. But the app itself, the owners of the app, would be a not-for-profit or a nonprofit. And the sole purpose of this not-for-profit or nonprofit would be to acquire land and build intentional communities on them that are decentralized, intentional, ideology-free alternative grid. So everything we're being priced out of now, we can crowdfund and grant ourselves access to under a corporate umbrella, which gives the same way an LLC gives the individual starting it some kind of cushion or a legal barrier between them and the entity that they're creating. This will give more people be a bit like a person who is unhoused can be unhoused, and they can come to one of these communities, and that with the amount of money that they can, get from a couple of people asking for money or panhandling, they are able to pay this membership. And upon that membership, and we have ways that they can engage with it without having to go get the fiat currency to pay their initial membership. For instance, they can tell other people about it, so they can essentially quote unquote sell the idea to other people, and their time and effort, whether the other people sign up or not, they're paid for their sweat equity. And so they are paid enough money plus to satisfy their membership, which grants them access to the amenities. So for somebody's $5 or $10, they get an entire community, which is an intentional community, and it is automated to the extent that it can be automated. So they're $5 a month or $10 a month, because the idea I had is $5 would go to make a community local to them within 100 miles of them, and $5 would go to making a community somewhere else abroad.
Okay.
And so, but these communities are imbued with the infrastructure of sustainability, meaning they have solar panels, wind, recycled wind turbines for their wind, and rainwater collection, filtration, everything that we're trying to do in the off-grid or the alternative grid homesteading sector. We simply extrapolate that out to be able to encompass more individuals, more families. And so we would have aquaponics, hydroponics, and all of this should be automated to the extent that it can be automated. And that is also, all that infrastructure is crowdfunded. It's basically doing what we do now, except the decentralization makes it so that the amount of energy, overall energy, time, effort, money, attention, all of that goes back into the community instead of crusting in a calcified little semblance of in profit. So whereas Walmart, YouTube, TikTok, these companies take in the money that they earn as profit, this corporation that builds and develops and maintains these communities would take in money for the sole purpose of building and maintaining these communities. And at some point, there wouldn't even be a membership. What would happen is we would have a universal community income.
All right.
Because of surplus.
Okay. I used to be in real estate, just so you know. And one thing that comes up, right, with the like co-ops and stuff, right? Co-ops are generally or something that I do support. But sometimes what happens, let's say, for example, like let's suppose that I was in a co-op building, right? And I have an apartment on the top floor. You know what I mean? Now, the thing is that what happens if the elevator breaks and the elevator costs $30,000 to fix, and the people on the bottom floors don't necessarily want to fix the elevator because it costs a lot of money, right? And the people on the top floor are screwed because the bottom floor, they're not able to get the votes to make something happen. So the thing is that if you have like this, if you have the property, right, with the 420 acres, whatever, I mean, we probably can't get that here, but, just any type of cooperative.
As an example, right?
You could have, right, one group of people benefiting more, or, certain minority groups that become excluded or, get sectioned off. And you get what I'm saying? Like they're either.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I have meticulously analyzed this aspect because it is a huge part of it. And just using the elevator example, and it has its holes, but it's not a bad example at all. And the way this would work is that the money and that's why I mentioned a universal community income, because essentially what happens is a person pays their $5 or their $10 for the membership into the LLC. I call it universal strike as a piggyback off a general strike, which is a thing. And I've talked to you about that before. But what happens is that money goes into the corporation. And then there are analysis that happen. Firstly, there's a resource analysis or an inventory of what is needed. It's going to cost $30,000 to fix this elevator. And we look at where $30,000 can come from within the budget of the corporation. So the individuals in the community, and I'll also have to say that for the example, it wouldn't matter. The people who are on the bottom floor, there's so much the same way we pay taxes and like don't even know where half of it goes. I'm not saying that we just be doing all of this without people's understanding, awareness, and all of the information would be public record for the things that we're doing as a corporation. That's another reason why it's important to incorporate, because it automatically encourages an accountability on a paper scale, a black and white scale. But that money that would go to fix the elevator wouldn't be something we go to the community members and be like, all right, let's get our monies together and pull it together and let's get this elevator for the people on the top floor. That money wouldn't necessarily, they wouldn't be able to necessarily point at that money and say, that's our money. Because it, like insurance money, it comes from the money that is pooled in the aggregate, meaning that $30,000, only pennies of it is theirs anyway, to be like not even fractions of a penny for them to be able to say, oh, well, we're on the bottom floor. We don't want to support an elevator. Also, we are not encouraging the development of these communities with people who have that mentality from the past, the old mentality of I don't want to contribute to this because it doesn't affect me. If you have that mentality, I'm not even talking to you. People who have the mentality of let's get things done so that we can have an equitable and aggressively progressive advancement within the ecologically sufficient equilibrium of the universe, if you're not trying to do that and you really are sitting here worried about the fraction, I'm not speaking against you as the host, because I know what you're talking about. You're referring to a specific type of people who don't want to share. They don't want to pay for the elevator. They don't want to put $1 in for the elevator, even though they might need to take that elevator to one of their friends' houses who also live in the community. We understand that those people exist, but just for the sake of argument, we're not talking to those people at all. So all of those people, don't listen to what I'm saying. Continue to engage in this man's content, but disregard everything I'm fucking saying, because we're no longer worried about those people. We're no longer talking to those people. If you're okay with hypothetically $1 of your monthly earnings going to the fixing of an elevator, and again, all of this stuff would come out of that $5 or $10, so it wouldn't be a situation where something needs to be fixed and we're going back to the community and asking them for more money. It would be a situation like taxes, where if an asteroid crashes into the road, a major highway, it is the already pooled money that exists in the pool that goes to fix that, not new money that we're collecting today, tomorrow, the next day, etc. So
I'll have to
that elevator would go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I have to go back and watch that. I'm sorry, I lost internet connection for a minute, so I lost like a bunch of what you were saying. But I did have some
You're
other
okay.
some
Please.
stuff coming up. I saw that in June there's something called the Liberator, and I think they're having some kind of event with a lot of speakers.
The Liberator 2?
Yeah, are you part of that?
I am not a part of the event speakers, but I am in close contact with Corey Ingelat, who is the director and the one doing this event. I think this is his 3rd or 4th year doing it, and I'm also a member of the same network that he is. And I also feature him on our website. I feature the Liberator 2 on our website.
Okay. One other thing I want to ask about, since I have it right, because I could lose internet in a moment once again. There's actually, it seems that there's some type of video production network called One Great Work Network. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, that's the network that I'm a part of, and I actually feature them on our website, and they feature us on their website.
Okay. Is that actually is this built out in a similar way to, like you said, like you have this co-op idea for the gardening, which is really cool, right?
Right.
Is this same model also applicable to like video, maybe video networking, or other types of organizing?
Yes, we are seeing that the models that we're procuring for the development of sustainable intentional communities are developing in other formats, and the mechanisms, like there's discords full of people who are basically enacting this same model but in a digital space as opposed to a physical space. And that is primarily because community is a mentality first and a location second, which goes back to the elevator example. The people who have a mentality of community will gladly fix whatever is broken in the community, and the people with that other mentality of, that's not my problem, won't gravitate towards that. So the model that I am seeing a lot, like the One Great Work Network is a decentralized, grassroots, independently operated and owned activism website like mine, like Evolving Seeds. It's an organism. It's not just a website, it's an organism, because it has so many facets. More than half of the people on there are book authors and have a bunch of expertise in that. More than half of these people are tech heads who can help, like Mark Passio, who is the founder of the One Great Work Network, literally spent 3 hours debugging my computer for me, as if he isn't a very, very, very busy and passionate activist that has a whole bunch of other shit they have to do. This man sat down on the phone with me personally and fixed my computer for 3 hours.
Okay.
So there's so much community in that.
Yeah, I got some people in the chat. Shout out to Dust James. And We Need Critical Thinking. By the way, Dust James is from North Carolina, and I have another organizer in North Carolina who's actually named Snapchat Queen. She is growing her own crops right now. So, here in New York, a lot of the gardening communities, I'm gonna start reaching out to them again. I haven't really been in close contact with them. But as in terms of making this model work I'm right now setting up a national coalition of content producers like yourself, right, from Colorado. I have someone in LA. I got a new person from Chicago, the 3 largest markets in the nation. We're going to add Texas, maybe even North Carolina with Dust James over here.
Right.
And find a way to really, I like this cooperative plan, and I may be able to adapt it for the formation of this new idea to really push the a cooperative mechanism to create a media network so we can really get this message out. So I think you already have one, but I'm excited to, maybe I could join. I don't have to be the head of it or really one of the co-organizers. I could
Well,
just join it if it exists. Yeah,
that's
go
the
ahead.
beautiful part about the decentralization. And I'm gonna give you a background on Evolving Seeds. Evolving Seeds is meant to be decentralized in a way because I'm an activist and I started Evolving Seeds. My wife and I, we started Evolving Seeds, and I love the name and I love the branding of it. That's our brand. And I welcome and I encourage everybody out there to build your own brand of activism. I have an activism career. I've never cared about my career that I use to pay bills. I've always cared about my contributions to myself, my family, my community, and my global host, my planet. And so I've always engaged in, like, I don't like capitalism, but I love marketability and having like Evolving Seeds and having it make sense with roots and seeds and ideas and all this shit. I encourage you to make your brand and tie it into the network. So that's what I tell people. Evolving Seeds isn't the network. We are a part of a network of other individuals, groups, and organizations and businesses, some small intentional zero waste businesses that engage in this conscious um, equitable living. And so I always recommend, because we need a bunch of spiders with a bunch of spider webs. We don't need 50 spiders in one web. We
Yeah.
need one spider with one web, and that web has so much interaction and reaches so many people and affects so much, and it ties in intimately with another spider and their web, and everything that other spider's web doesn't catch, the other spider's web catches, and everything they don't catch, the other one catches. And
I
that way
love it.
we can actually deliver so much um, access to resources and actual mutual aid and things like that. The more people are aware of it, you have a vast network of people who interact with you, and I have a vast network of people who interact with me. And on both sides, they are all going through things and need things and have things that other people need and they don't want anymore, but they don't know about each other. And just like Uber and Airbnb and those platforms act as a middleman, we need to act as the middlemen and the middle women and the middle people between people who need things and people who have things that those people need, and from an altruistic perspective. And that's our line.
Okay, that sounds it sounds exciting. I know that Dust James is a communist, so some of the ideas of centralism versus decentralizing, I know, might bump heads, but maybe once again, right, we should really try both and see what works. But I really, and learn from actually doing instead of just,
Right.
some kind of thought leader who says, "Oh, this is the way," right? We need to find out
Right.
for ourselves. So I really appreciate that deeply. So yeah, maybe I could actually, set up my own, I guess you could say, web, as you say. I'm also interested in participating with some of the other groups here, like this, what I mentioned.
I think you cut out. I'm gonna use this opportunity to say that if you haven't heard of a resource-based economy, please check it out. Everybody who subscribes to communism uh, and socialism, when I send them searching for the reasons why I would advocate a resource-based economy or suggest a resource or recommend a resource-based economy in opposition to socialism, communism, capitalism, and dictatorships, is because it unifies all of them in a way that takes everything that they all have that is positive while leaving all the things that is negative. So it looks like he may have actually been froze out. So I'm gonna cut it right here. You've been watching DJ and Evolving Seeds, and ooh, there's a whole goose. Be safe out there. Check out the website. Check out a resource-based economy. Check out the Venus Project. As he mentioned, check out Mark Passio and the One Great Work Network. And keep your eyes open out there and be safe. A coworker of mine just recently, within the last few days, left the earth. So we need to be vigilant and be diligent about paying the fuck attention. And yeah, be safe out there, you guys.
Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna have like constant resets of my internet, so I guess we lost. I guess Michael's at work now, so I'll go back and watch the stuff. It is what it is. Yeah. The lack of funds have really impacted my internet stability, so it is what it is. Thanks again, Dust James. Resource-based economy is just socialism, but a lack of class struggle that's needed to get to it. Yeah, I did also want to ask Michael Morse. I know that he has actually had Abby Martin on his show and other notables, but I'm actually highly cut out from their world. I recently got an email from Dr. Shiva, who's running for president, so there's maybe other interesting work coming up, and I'm quite excited to see where we go with that. Okay, so yeah, shout out to Michael Morris. Yeah, I'm a fan of his work, and we'll be staying in contact. Colorado. There's other things going on with libertarians that I also want to see. Does anarchism kind of like follow that line between libertarians and communists? Kind of. We'll have to see. But I know that there's some activities going on with other people. What is it? Pink Flame of Liberty and also a Forest Mom, right? Yeah. So there are other people in Colorado that I'm also in contact with. I have to follow up with them and see Devin, right? Devin X. So we're going to see what's up with Colorado. Yeah. Reaching out to all parts of the country. So thanks again for watching. Shout out to We Need Critical Thinking. Thanks again for visiting Dust James. And God bless. I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, I'm back to the hustle.